Well, if you've ever wondered what a medieval knight and your kitchen blender might have in common, let me enlighten you. You see, back in the day, knights had a trusty squire to prepare their armor, their horse, and most importantly, their meals. Now, imagine if one day the squire decided to take a day off. Our knight would probably end up with a badly cooked meal, and he might even lose a finger or two trying to dice those pesky vegetables. Fast forward a few centuries, and we have a machine that does the chopping, dicing, and blending for us, the blender. No knights or fingers were harmed in the process, thankfully. Our journey begins in the early 20th century. An enterprising gentleman by the name of Stephen Poplawski invented the blender in 1922. Mr. Poplawski, a Polish-American, had a vision of a world where people could mix their own beverages at home. And so, he put a spinning blade at the bottom of a container and voila, the blender was born. Now, the blender had a rather uneventful existence until the 1930s, when a chap named Fred Waring decided it needed a bit of a makeover. Fred was a musician, but he had a knack for tinkering with things. He redesigned the blender, giving it more power and a sleek new look. Fred's blender was a hit, and it soon found its way into kitchens across America. The blender's evolution didn't stop there, though. In the 1960s, a company named Vitamix introduced a blender that could not only blend, but also heat and cook food. This multifunctional blender was revolutionary, and it paved the way for the blenders we know and love today. The early 21st century saw the advent of the smart blender. These blenders, equipped with sensors and digital screens, could adjust their speed and power based on the type of food being blended. Some even had pre-programmed settings for different recipes. Talk about having a personal chef in your kitchen. Today, we have blenders that can do everything from making smoothies to kneading dough. They've come a long way from their humble beginnings as a simple beverage mixer. So, the next time you whip up a smoothie or make a hearty soup using your blender, remember the journey it's been on. From a simple invention in the 1920s to the high-tech gadget it is today, the blender has certainly had a whirlwind of a journey. And who knows what the future holds? Whatever happens, one thing's for sure, the blender's journey is far from over. So here's to the blender, the unsung hero of the kitchen, the modern-day squire, the knight in shining armor, without the armor, of course. It might not be able to joust or save a damsel in distress, but it sure can whip up a mean smoothie.